Hello, mixtresses and mixters. This is Mixtress Ray. You're watching Mixtress Video. So I figured it was time to, I'm not sure how I feel just in general about collection videos these days, but I feel like it was, I like to keep them for myself, for sure. I like to know from year to year, what do I have? What do I still have? What am I using? So, and I know people are interested in that as well. So I thought I would show off, obviously you can see in the title. This is my tarot collection, 2022. It is now early November. So this is likely where it's gonna be. I have one deck that I've ordered that has not arrived yet. But other than that, this is my collection. Oh, and I have decks that are stored in other places. Hopefully I'll remember to mention them, but they're just not pictured. So these are in, this is pretty much most of my tarot collection is what you can see right here. I'll show, obviously there's a couple of shelves below that I'll show. I'll readjust the shot when we get there. Anyway, here we go. So these are all in chronological order from when they have arrived into the world. These are the ones that are in boxes. I do have some in bags that obviously are not in their chronological order. So obviously we have Rider Tarot. I do still have my copy of Thoth because I do really like this particular edition of the cardstock, and the imagery is really clear and nice, and like, so many cool people like Thoth that someday I might be cool. I don't know. It's sort of one that I'm keeping for historic reasons, you know. Nefertari's Tarot, I do love that. Crow's Magic, UFO Tarot. This one I just got for my birthday. Okay, sorry. I got interrupted, so the shot looks slightly different because I realized there was something missing. So I brought this after getting interrupted. Okay, so I got this one for my birthday, Tarot of Magical Forest. And I am really liking it. It is just sweet and kind of sassy, and it's just, yeah, I seem to like, as far as like my own collection goes, I seem to have like no limit for animal decks and no limit for gothic decks. Everything else, it's like I only need like one representative of a certain style or theme or whatever. But it seems like those are the two things that I could have an infinite number of. I still have Tarot of Sweet Twilight. This was probably my favorite deck that I got last year, but I have not used it much this year. And I'm kind of regretting trimming it because I just don't love using smaller decks. So I'm kind of regretting trimming it. I might buy another copy of it at some point, because I just like the bigger cards, even though it has, you know, it's a low scarabeo, so it has a ton of languages on it, but that's okay. I actually rescued Dark Angels this year from I didn't have it in Purgatory, but I had it in my collage box. So and I've used it a lot this year. I've used it a lot. In fact, it's probably one of the top 5 decks that I've used this year. So I'm really glad that I rescued it from my collage box. Some of the cards I had put on my wall with like thumbtacks because I really liked the art and I thought that I wasn't going to use it as a tarot deck anymore. So I have like 3 to 5 cards in this deck that have holes in them. From thumbtacks and staples and stuff, but whatever, that's okay. I love it. I really do. Top 5, not top 5 ever, but top 5 decks that I used this year for sure. Sasarai Beto, I used to use it like as this was my like number 1 client deck, but I have not used it much this year. And for a couple of times it was almost on the chopping block, but this is just such an emotionally intelligent, connected deck that I don't want to get rid of it. I don't think. This is one that if I ever did put it in Purgatory, I would really take my time with deciding to let it go. Santa Muerte, I still have. This is actually empty right now because this is the deck I'm using this week. because this is the time for it. November is the time for Santa Muerte. And this is, one I've talked about before. I have created. It's taken a while to get to know this deck. I've had it for like 3.5 years at this point. It's taken me a while to get to know it, but it is a valuable relationship. This one, Moon Power, my mom gave to me. I pretty much have stopped using it for the most part, but it's sentimental because my mom gave it to me. And it is one that's pretty expensive if I wanted to ever replace it. If I ever got rid of it, I probably wouldn't replace it, but I would just feel bad. Anyway, so this is just one that I keep pretty much for sentimental reasons. This one I got this year. This is Neon Moon Tarot. And I love it. This is my like Matrix Cyberpunk. I don't have anything else like that. Okay, let's readjust the shot a little bit to go down to the next shelf and get a peek of the third shelf. So this is Helena from Orphan Black. She's just hanging out here. Marigold Tarot is here. It's hard to see it, but there she is. It's actually empty because I keep it in the other room, but I keep the box here. Here is Haunted Tarot of Haunted House. This one was in purgatory for a while this year, but I just rescued it because I do think there's more I have to talk about with Tarot of Haunted House. Modern Witch, this is the German version. Crow Tarot was given to me this year. This is the knockoff because I can actually fucking shuffle it. This one is proving to be very useful, particularly with client readings. I use this one, I've used it several times for my weekly Patreon readings that I do for my patrons. And it's great. It is really like surprising. Like I love crows, but this is not the kind of art style that I would normally be drawn to, but I do love this deck. Tarot del Fuego. I got this one back in May, so I've had it for a while, but I really haven't used it much yet. It seems kind of nonsensical. Sometimes I feel like I can't decide if the artist is subverting tarot meanings on purpose with his imagery or if he just doesn't know tarot that well. I can't decide, but this deck it cost less than $10, I think, if I remember correctly, or it was definitely less than 15. And I love the card stock and I love the crazy imagery. So even though I'm not totally bonded to it yet, I'm not going to get rid of it anytime soon, I don't think. This is my Gothmancy Tarot. We've had a rocky relationship, me and Gothmancy, but this is one pop culture deck that almost all the artists in this deck I am familiar with, and this is a pop culture music deck, essentially. And it is pretty based in RWS, so it would be a very usable deck, even if you didn't know the songs. I'm the one that created the playlist for this deck. I mean, I didn't choose the songs. I just made the playlist based on, because there's a song associated with every card but one in this deck. For some reason, it feels like an oversight. One of the cards in this deck does not have a song associated with it. There's a couple of cards in this deck that are associated with an album instead of a song, I think. But there was one card in this deck that isn't associated with music at all, which I was like, what? Anyway. Or maybe it's the art. Don't quote me on any of that. That's just from memory. I might be wrong about that, but I think there's one card in this deck that does not have a song association. But in any case, on Spotify, I made the mix with all of the song correspondences from this deck. Just so people could, because I was surprised that the artist didn't do it. Like, if you're going to associate You're going to make a tarot deck where every card but one is associated with a song? Why would you not make a playlist? I mean, it took me less than an hour to make that happen, so I don't know why they didn't do it. But anyway, that's my Gothmancy. I don't use it a whole lot, but I like the color scheme in this deck. I like a lot of the choices. This is like really the only pop culture deck I have, I think. I mean, there are some representations of Gothic figures in Dark Angels as well, like Robert Smith is the King of Cups, but for the most part, that's not a pop culture deck, Dark Angels, but Gothmancy is. Speaking of pop culture, there are some pop culture figures in Desert Illuminations as well. This is like a place tarot deck. You know, this is New Mexico. That's what it was supposed to represent, and it does. For those of y'all that are like, I know this deck has been in and out of print, hard to find. There is a, it just got picked up by US Games. Sorry, I'm just like, why did I say that so weird? It just got picked up by US Games, so soon it will be widely available. And I think it's well deserved because it is a unique and beautiful tarot deck. This is the first edition. I did pre-order the second edition because one of the cards in the first edition, the 8 of Chilies / 8 of Wands, actually has 10 chilies on it. So that has been fixed in the second edition that's about to come out. But yeah, in any case, this is going to be available soon via US Games. I bought the second edition of Moon Baby Tarot this year because I had given my first edition away to a friend, which I don't regret. I don't regret giving it away, but I did kind of miss it. And I like the color scheme of the box and the card edges better in the second edition. Because the second edition, the card edges are this avocado green color, which I love. It's perfect. So yeah, I'm very happy to have this one. So it was meant to be that I gave away my first edition so that I could get this one. And then this is my one Lenormand deck in here, Julie's Spoopy Lenormand in here. And I have my divination dice and stuff in here. I still have not used Lenormand at all, but I have a deck if I ever decide. This is my only Lenormand. If I ever decide to use it, it's in there. And now let's go down to the third shelf. This is as far down as I'll be able to go with my tripod. I guess I can tilt. Let's tilt a bit so then you can see the next shelf as well. Thrift store tripods, guys. They have limitations, you know? They were probably given up for a reason. Okay. Darkwood Tarot I still have. Tarot of Vampires still have. This is also probably one of the top 5 most used decks of the year is my Tarot of Vampires. And now we're getting into, like, at this point, the shelves are kind of a mixture of Tarot and Oracle. Whereas we've looked at just Tarot so far. Let's see. I want to be sure to mention what's in the other room. Halloween Tarot is in the other room. That is another of my top 5 most used decks this year. Tarot of the Cat People is in the other room. Let's see. I have Oracle decks in there as well. What are my Oracle decks that are in the other room? Vintage Wisdom, Goddess Oracle, I think. Hold on, I'm like rolling around on the floor to see. Oh, my 2 Oracle decks that I created are in the other room. I have Feathered Omens in the other room as well, just to be thorough for my future self of what I still have. Okay, let's go. So I have Everyday Witch Oracle. This is one that I used to use for clients really frequently, and I kind of stopped using it this year. So this one is possibly not going to stick around forever. Like, if I continue to not use it, I'll probably let it go. Dark Mirror Oracle is an Oracle deck that I have been using more this year. It's actually, I really like it. I really like it, actually. I know it's one that like not a lot of people like, but it's interesting. Every card is associated with a moon phase and in the guidebook it shows every card is associated with one of the 5 stages of grief. So, and the guidebook like is hilarious. It's definitely like was not written in English to begin with, and it was translated. It was kind of poorly translated, so it's sort of comical reading the guidebook, but there's some good ideas in there. You just kind of have to like read between the lines of like what it says versus what it means. You know what I mean? I do still have my embroidered graveyard. Have not used it a whole lot. I use this more in like spell crafting than anything else, honestly. And then we have a Minty Oracle. I love the art in this from something Ray something. Sorry. Her middle name's Ray. I know that because mine is too. This is my most recent Oracle acquisition. It's actually not even in the box right now because I have it in the other room. Woodland Wardens. So every card is an animal and a plant. So there's like a keyword for each, and they were very thoughtfully chosen. This is a person that knows their animals and plants. And it's not, I wouldn't have thought like this isn't usually my art style, but it reminds me of my grandma used to do art, and this was the kind of art that she would do. She would draw animals. It would just be straight up reproductions of pictures, really. So it wasn't like as interesting composition wise as these are, but it reminds me of my grandma kind of. And she's still with us, but I do feel like this is a deck that will become even like, sorry, I don't even want to finish that sentence, but you know what I'm saying. I'm not going to finish that sentence because she's still with us. This is an Oracle deck I acquired this year, Fairy Enchantments. This is by Ian Daniels, who did Tarot of Vampires. I use this one in spell crafting because that's kind of what this deck is for. And I have gotten some use out of it. This is definitely an Oracle deck I've bonded to this year. And then I rebought Mystical Shaman this year. I kind of hate this box. I do not like white. White is not for me. So I might relocate that to a bag at some point, but I just haven't done it yet. So that's this shelf. Okay, I guess I can tilt a little bit further, but not much. Okay, so these are all my bags mostly. This is Animal Wise Tarot. I have in here. I just got this recently. I had wanted it all year. Thank you to who sent it to me. I don't know if you want me to reveal who you are, so I won't say right now. You probably don't care, but this was given to me by a dear friend, her first edition of Animal Wise Tarot. Really have not dove into it yet. I've had it for a couple months, but this is just something that feels I feel very attached to it, and I am excited to dive in when I'm ready. This is going to be a deep dive thing, I think, and I know I'm going to love it. I just haven't really bonded to it yet. And then also that same friend in the same package gave me her first edition Voyager Tarot that is actually signed by the artist. How cool is that? I am excited to have this. Also, Voyager Tarot I don't think is one that I'm going to be super close friends with, but I do kind of view it as a historical deck because I view it as a historical collage deck. Okay, this is my Brian Froud's Fairies Oracle. This is probably, or definitely, top 5 Oracle decks, not only of all time, but also that I used this year. This is a deck that, if y'all follow Sylvain, I've become close with him in the last year, and I love him so much. He his relationship to the Radley Valentine Guardian Angel messages. I think that's what it's called. I'm sorry, I get all those titles confused of the Radley Valentine decks. But the one that he really, really loves, that he shows on his channel frequently, I feel about this Fairies Oracle the way he feels about that. This deck, like, it gets me, and it comforts me, and it also calls me out of my shit. And yeah, this is, if I could only keep one Oracle deck, it would be that. This is my Tantric Dakini in here. Haven't used it a lot this year, but again, I think of it as a historical collage deck, and I do like using it. It's one that I just don't think I'll ever get rid of. This is my Cosmic Tribe. So a bunch of naked people in this deck. I'm not taking them all out because this is more just a list of what I have. So if you want to see any of these decks, just look them up. All right, I've got dog fur. I did not pre-clean before I started this video. What is in here? I think this is Nightmare Before Christmas. I'm always putting different decks in this particular bag because this bag just goes with everything. But I think it's Nightmare Before Christmas. Let me make sure. Yes. Yes, it is. Okay. This is one that I really don't use it much, but it was a gift on my birthday a couple years ago. I like Abigail Larson's art, and as far as those like Inside Editions tarot decks, this one is my favorite that I've seen. I do actually think that it's a fun deck to work with, particularly around Christmas time, because it's not a serious deck, and Christmas is like the hardest time of year for me. One of the hardest times a year for me. It goes spring and then Christmas. So, yeah. It is a nice, lighthearted, comforting deck around Christmas time. This is my Ludi Lesket. It is an interesting deck. I've said a lot about it already, but I'm glad to have it, actually, even though it's painful to work with. This is my Telesma Tarot, my #1 favorite new acquisition from 2022, Telesma Tarot, despite the cardstock. What is in here? I don't even know. Let's find out. I'm always putting new decks in this. Oh, it's my, I always want to call it something. It's Morgan's Tarot, which is actually an oracle. This is my Morgan's Tarot. Okay, and then on the bottom shelf, I don't think I can get any lower, so I'm just going to pull them up. This was a gift from Sylvain, Fallen Angel Oracle cards. This deck pairs really well with Dark Angels, which I think me and Dawn Michelle from Boho Tarot had either sort of discovered this at the same time or we talked about it at the same time. This is funny because I was just like talking to Sylvain, I'm like, I really like Fallen Angel with Dark Angels. They go really well together, you know, like blah, 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 blah. And he's like, yeah, Boho Tarot just said that on her channel too. So we both sort of discovered it simultaneously, I think. But yeah, I really am enjoying this Oracle deck. And I'm still getting to know it. I ordered this year the pocket version of the Kali Oracle, and because I really like the Kali Oracle by Alana Fairchild. And this one's nice because it's just like short and sweet messages on one side and the image on the other. Sometimes I keep this in my purse just for like a quick little message on a lunch break or something. I like it. And then I have, this one was also a gift from Sylvain, Isis Oracle. I did used to have it, but I got rid of it, and he was generous enough to give me another copy. I haven't really played with it again yet. That was a few months ago, but I'm going to try to keep it because I do think I'll use it again someday. And I also have the full-size Kali Oracle and Les Vampires Oracle. not pictured both of Julie's JBG decks that she put out this year. They're in a special sentimental place, so they're not here. But her tarot deck and the Notorious JBG and also the Oracle deck, that one is, they have specific purposes. One of them has just fulfilled its destiny of living in the board game closet because Julie yesterday, if you haven't watched it yet, watch it. She just revealed her tarot memory game that she made up. What does she call it? Tenacious Tarot. So Notorious JBG is the official deck that works with Tenacious Tarot game, which I played obsessively yesterday, and I love it. So it lives in the board game closet downstairs next to my kitchen table where I play that. And then the Oracle deck lives in my car travel altar so that I can bring it out. It is my official cemetery Oracle deck, the JBG Oracle from Julie that she put out this year. I'm trying to think what else I have that I store in other places that's not pictured. Oh, both of my Kim Cran's decks, Animal Spirit, Oracle, and Wild Unknown, are also stored in my board game closet simply because it's a closer location to my front door. And I usually use Wild Unknown like on my porch or just outside in general, either on my back deck or my front porch. That's where I use those decks. I'm trying to think what else is not pictured. There's probably something that I'm forgetting that is like in my tarot room or something like that. But essentially, this is the collection as of early November. So there you go. Cool. I'll probably do a perfume collection. If I don't record it today, it'll come out soon-ish. Because that is the other thing that I kind of collect. It's tarot, oracle, and perfume, pretty much. I guess you could say books, but I mean, everybody has a book collection, right? Anyway, so that's it. I guess I don't know how to stop talking, so I'll just stop.